short while ago, Vice President now-elect Kamala Harris sent this tweet with the caption, "We did it," with a video of her speaking to the next president of the United States.
We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Joe Biden is going to be the next president. Kamala Harris is going to be the next vice president, the first female vice president, and the first person of color to be a vice president of the United States. A remarkable background, Jamaican father, Indian mother. They both immigrated to California, and she was born in California, became Attorney General of California, senator from California, and now Vice President-elect of the United States. Laura Trevelyan is in Black Lives Matter Plaza. It is right outside the White House in Washington. Laura, I know that you have lots of barricades between you and the White House. Are you getting any sense at all of what's going on inside those barricades and inside the White House? I know they're celebrating like crazy out where you are. Have you heard anything about what's going on inside the White House and the campaign?
I can barely hear anything at all, Kathy. But I can tell you exactly what's happening within the 6 inches around me, which is wild, wild celebrations. People crying, people singing, horns honking, champagne corks flying, people trying to scale the fence to celebrate the fact that Donald Trump is going to be leaving the White House. And joining me now are two people who voted. I've got here Lauren Maley and Matt Clinton. Lauren, tell me, how are you feeling at this moment?
A small part of me is a little bit sad that so many people did vote for Trump, but mostly it's just relief that now we have a chance to try to repair the damage that's happened over the last 4 years.
And Matt, how about you? How are you feeling?
Pretty much the same, just a sense of relief that we can finally move on from 4 years of Trump. But again, like Lauren said, I don't know how 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm excited to be able to kind of move on from the past 4 years.
What is it that you hope Joe Biden is going to bring to the presidency, Lauren?
I'm just hoping that we can finally start getting people on the same page about the fact that all of this, so many people believe that there was fraud in our system when there's clearly been proven to be no fraud. So I'm hoping that there's an education of people who are so completely split and polarized, and we can maybe all finally get to the same page.
Matt, do you think now that Joe Biden has won the election that all the talk about electoral fraud and lawsuits will recede a bit into the background?
If we've learned anything from Donald Trump, it's that he's not going to give up from this. He's going to push this fraud issue as hard as he can, but he has no basis for it. There's been literally no evidence that any fraud has taken place anywhere, and I think that the legal system will show that. So I'm hoping that our institutions can kind of prevent any true issues from coming up, but I don't think he'll just let it go, but we know that Joe Biden is the winner.
Matt and Lauren, thank you both so much for joining us. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
So there you go, two relieved and happy Joe Biden supporters who are just hoping, Kathy, that Donald Trump will accept the result.
But the numbers tell us it's clear. Tell us a clear and convincing story. We're going to win this race. Just look at what has happened since yesterday. 24 hours. We were behind in Georgia. Now we're ahead, and we're going to win that state. 24 hours ago, we were behind in Pennsylvania, and we are going to win Pennsylvania. And now we're ahead, but we're winning in Arizona, we're winning in Nevada, and in fact, our lead just doubled in Nevada. We're on track to over 300 electoral votes, electoral college votes. And look at the national numbers. We're going to win this race with a clear majority of the nation behind us. We've gotten over 74 million votes. Let me repeat that, 74 million votes. That's more than any presidential ticket has ever gotten in the history of the United States of America. And our vote total is still growing. We're beating Donald Trump by over 4 million votes. And that's a margin that's still growing as well. One of the things I'm especially proud of is how well we've done across America. And we're going to be the first Democrat to win in Arizona in 24 years. We're going to be the first Democrat to win Georgia in 28 years. And we've rebuilt the blue wall in the middle of the country that crumbled just 4 years ago. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, the heartland of this nation. I know watching these vote tallies on TV moves very slow, and as slow as it goes, it can be numbing. But never forget, the tallies aren't just numbers. They represent votes and voters, men and women who exercise their fundamental right to have their voice heard. And what's becoming clear each hour is that record number of Americans of all races, faiths, religions chose change over more of the same. They've given us a mandate for action on COVID, the economy, climate change, systemic racism. They made it clear they want the country to come together, not continue to pull apart. The people spoke, more than 74 million Americans, and they spoke loudly for our ticket. But while we're waiting for the final results, I want people to know we're not waiting to get the work done and start the process. Yesterday, Senator Harris and I held meetings with groups of experts on public health and the economic crisis this country is facing. The pandemic, as you also know, is getting more worrisome all across the country. Daily cases are skyrocketing, and it's now believed that we could see as many as 200,000 cases in a single day. The death toll is approaching 240,000 lives lost to this virus. That's 240,000 empty chairs, kitchen tables, and dining room tables all across America. We'll never be able to measure all that pain and the loss, the suffering that so many families have experienced. We know something about what it feels like to lose someone. And I want them to know they're not alone. Our hearts break with you. I want everyone to know on day one, we're going to put our plan to control this virus into action. We can't save any of the lives lost, any of those have been lost, but we can save a lot of lives in the months ahead. Senator Harris and I also heard yesterday about how this recovery is slowing because of the failure to get the pandemic under control. More than 20 million people are on unemployment. Millions are worried about making rent and putting food on the table. Our economic plan will put a focus on a path to a strong recovery. Look, we both know tensions are high. They can be high after a tough election, one like we've had. But we need to remember, we have to remain calm, patient, let the process work out as we count all the votes. You know, we're proving again what we've proved for 244 years in this country. Democracy works. Your vote will be counted. I don't care how hard people try to stop it. I will not let it happen. The people will be heard. Our journey is toward a more perfect union, and it keeps moving on. In America, we hold strong views. We have strong disagreements, and that's okay. Strong disagreements are inevitable in a democracy, and strong disagreements are healthy. They're a sign of a vigorous debate, of deeply held views. But we have to remember, the purpose of our politics isn't total, unrelenting, unending warfare. No, the purpose of our politics, the work of the nation, isn't to fan the flames of conflict, but to solve problems, to guarantee justice, to give everybody a fair shot, and to improve the lives of our people. We may be opponents, but we're not enemies. We're Americans. And no matter who you voted for, I'm certain of one thing. The vast majority of almost 150 million Americans who voted, they want to get the vitriol out of our politics. We're certainly not going to agree on a lot of issues, but at least we can agree to be civil with one another. We have to put the anger and the demonization behind us. It's time for us to come together as a nation to heal. It's not going to be easy, but we have to try. My responsibility as president will be to represent the whole nation. And I want you to know that I'll work as hard for those who voted against me as those who voted for me. That's the job. That's the job. It's called the duty of care for all Americans. We have serious problems to deal with, from COVID to the economy, to racial justice, to climate change. We don't have any more time to waste on partisan warfare. You know, and more than that, we have such an incredible opportunity to build the future we want for our kids and our grandkids. I've said many, many times, I've never been more optimistic about the future of this nation. There is no reason we can't own the